Hello and welcome to EcoElsa. On today's video, we'll be going over 5 methods to help you manage student fears when outdoors. Coming right up. In a previous video, we went over how to manage your fears as the adult when taking kids outdoors. In today's video, we'll be talking about specifically how to address the kids' fears when they're outdoors. The outdoors can be a pretty scary place sometimes, especially if there's things that you're afraid of out in it, like snakes and spiders. So it's really important to have good methods in place for handling student fears so that they can have a fun time outdoors and learn, and it can go smoothly for you and you can enjoy taking your class outdoors. Method number 1 is about the expected behavior and guidelines for when outdoors and there's something you're afraid of. For starters, it's about being respectful of the animals that you're going to see outdoors and your fellow classmates. So this means if you do see a snake or a spider and you're afraid of it, it's not to jump all over it and crush it or to freak out and run around screaming. You wouldn't do it in your indoor classroom. You shouldn't be doing it in the outdoor classroom. The second part of method number 1 is how the students will be treating each other when outdoors and there's things they're afraid of. This can be summarized into 2 different things, the golden rule and the 3-bubble method. Now, what's going to possibly happen outdoors is there'll be students who aren't afraid of snakes and spiders and enjoy picking them up, going and showing them to students who do not like them. I can attest to this. I was one of these little stinkers. I'm sorry, Miss Hebert and Miss Eberspacher. I now understand as an adult that going and shoving snakes and spiders in my classmates' faces was not really the way to get them to like those critters more. In fact, I probably scared them more. So, sorry, I learned my lesson though. We're getting back on topic here. So we talked about this in the previous video on fear, but we're going to go into a little bit more of how you're going to handle it with the students now that you know how to handle it as you, the adult. With the golden rule, what we do is we use it as treat others how they would like to be treated. Because I don't mind snakes and spiders doesn't mean I should be going and shoving snakes and spiders in fellow classmates' faces if I was one of the students or if I was even the teacher. Because this is not going to be how they stop being afraid of it, and I'm probably going to just freak them out more and it's not going to be fun. The second part of this is probably one of my favorites. It's called the 3-foot bubble method. And what this means is that every adult and student in the group has a 3-foot bubble around them. And you are not allowed to bring a snake or spider or anything else into their bubble unless they say it's okay. This way they have control over their personal space, and if they are afraid of snakes and spiders, they can keep them away from themselves. What is also nice about the 3-foot bubble method is that it allows students who sometimes have trouble with directions having very clear instructions for how close they can get to fellow students when they're holding a snake or a spider. They literally just have to stick their arms out like this, and if they can touch another student, they are obviously too close, or if their hand's going into that other student's arm space, then they are obviously too close. Method number 2 is showing the kids that it is fun outdoors. Now that you've gone over rules and guidelines, you don't want it to be all doom and gloom so the kids are afraid and freaked out about going outside and they're worried everything's out to get them. You want to do some kind of an activity that allows them to get comfortable with being in their new outdoor classroom. Whether it's a more running tag type game, or maybe it's just simply exploring and climbing on some logs a little bit. Just something that eases their mind and their tension a little bit and allows them to get comfortable in their new space. Method number 3 is allowing students to set their own boundaries. You've set some good rules and guidelines for the students and they've gotten a little bit more comfortable with a game outdoors. Now it's time to let them set some of their own boundaries so that they can feel comfortable. Forcing students into situations that they don't feel comfortable with just for the point of learning is going to be self-defeating because they're going to be a little bit nervous or freaked out and they're not going to be enjoying themselves, and so it's going to be very hard to get their attention and keep them focused on what they should be doing and learning about. So you need to allow the students the opportunity to just take a break. Tap out for a quick 30 seconds or minute to catch their bearings, their breath, breathe a little bit and go, okay, now I'm ready to join the group again and learn. Also, by doing this, they won't be a distraction to the other students who are learning and enjoying themselves. Method number 4 is letting students know it's okay to be afraid, that we all have fears, even you as the teacher, but we're still expected to behave in a certain way since we are still in class. And if you need to take a break, it's okay to take a break. And it's okay to be afraid, remind them that bravery and being brave is not the absence of fear, but it's acknowledging that you do have a fear, but facing it regardless. With them letting you know that they're afraid of something, you can encourage them to put their brave face on at the very least, or take a break if they need it. Method number 5 is encouraging students to face their fears. Now that you know what they're afraid of, you have guidelines in place to allow them to face their fear on their own time frame. Now it's you encouraging them to do so. To go above and beyond just putting their brave face on and getting more comfortable with whatever it is they're afraid of. And what's nice about this is if you know what they're afraid of and maybe it's the same thing you are, you can work with them. You can go, okay, any day that you try and do something to get a little bit more comfortable with spiders, I'll try and do the same thing. And we can do it as a team. Or they can pair up with other fellow students who share the same fears and work as a team to do it. By encouraging them to face their fears, they might over time even conquer this fear and are no longer afraid of it, which would be a great step for them. But additionally, it's a good way of it developing more social skills for them and their fellow classmates, for how to treat people who have different fears than them or see the world a little bit differently. Unfortunately, that is all we have time for today. To check out my other video about how to manage your fears as the teacher, check the links below in the description, as well as please comment below or tweet me at Elsa Latecki and share what your strategies are for managing fear outdoors. If you liked this video, please click the subscribe button below and make sure to ring the little bell button. That way you can be notified the second my videos go up on YouTube to help you take your kids outdoors. As always, I hope you have a fantastic week. You be safe, learn lots, have fun, and get your kids outdoors. Bye!